Nottingham has been painted blue. Anthony Knockout has scored the goal. It's the goal. Alain Le Bleu.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away, in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
But in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reach the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City.
tune in.
And join in now.
Right, Chris.
Well, I've been better. I'd be lying if I said anything different. And, well, look, I know it says which side are we, this side, Emirates FA Cup there. I know we're out of it, but technically, we're still the holders, at least until May. And at least, I've got to say, we didn't go out in the first round that we could have gone out at. That record is still held by Arsenal. Hello, Arsenal fans. Leicester Till I Die. You can catch us on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. On your favourite podcast, if you're going to be listening to this on Catch Up, Google, iTunes, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all of them. This is where you can find us.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
It is the weekend roundup show. Well, I've got a couple of special guests in. We've got Elton Welsby. I can say, if you remember from the 70s, 80s, big presenter on ITV. He's very happy. He's a big Everton fan, and they turned it round and they won at the weekend. But come on, to help me console myself and to feel miserable, we've got a Man United fan, and at least they managed to take it to penalties. It is the weekend roundup. Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. 60 minutes of football fun and banter with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV. Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble.
Indeed. Let's start with a few comments. Hi, Static. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Oh, give it a rest. No, I won't. You're an Arsenal fan, and the fact that you did something worse than us, it's all I'm holding on to. I'm literally holding on to that by my fingertips. Facebook, oh my God, we've got an essay here about only positive thing Brendan Rodgers just said. Squad is being refreshed with a big clear out of big players we're probably going. we'll come on to Leicester. Unfortunately, we've got to come on to Leicester later on. No one apart from me and the real Arsenal fans know how truly awful my team is. I've swapped places with it at the moment, mate, and I was offered £100 for my 2 tickets. I wish I had accepted. Static says I'm good. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that result for Leicester. Yeah, not many of us did. Don't mind going down, but I expect us to go down fighting. Let's invite the one happy person first of all and say good evening to Elton. Good evening, Elton. How are you doing?
Hi, Chris. I'm very well, thank you.
The happy one of the three.
Oh, I'm deliriously happy. I think when you think of where Everton was a couple of weeks ago, the transformation, the mood amongst the fans has just changed dramatically with the sacking of Rafa and the appointment of Frank Lampard and a very, very accomplished backroom staff as well. and they played some. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I was going to say they played some football the other day, which was, we haven't seen at Goodison for about 2 years. It was no, seriously, it was really good. I mean, Alan's pass to Richarlison for his goal was reminiscent of Kendall Bull and Harvey. I mean, yes, we're going over the top, but we've been in the doldrums for so long. We're allowed to. We're allowed to. To get carried away.
Yeah. Talking about getting carried away, Dan, the Burnley fan, he's just got in. He says he's going for a shower. My God. First one of the year. Down here. We can smell you from here. Talking of which, good evening to Mike. I'm sorry, that's just the way it fell, Mike. That's just the way it fell. Good evening, a Man United fan. I'm sorry, mate. You must be feeling the same way we are.
Like you said earlier, at least we took it to penalties, but essentially we didn't lose the game, but it was awful. I'm not going to...
You did.
Are you in the draw, Mike?
Well, Chris,
you lost it then.
Yeah.
Good God.
True. But yeah, I can't complain about the decision that got given against us because we should have been 3 or 4-0 up at that point. It shouldn't have ever gone to extra time.
Let's have a look because we're going to go through the games one by one. So, like I said, it is the review show and it is the FA Cup. There was one match we'll come to at the end, by which time Dan may well have had his bath, which is Burnley against Watford, which I fell asleep watching. But this was the first match, and it was yours, Mike. 1-1. Surely. I mean, you shouldn't have actually been relying on the fact that the penalty wasn't given. You should have been, away and, packed up and on your way home by then.
Yeah. Like I said, obviously the, goodness sake, the game should have been done before that instant. Like you said, first half, we should have been 3 or 4-0 up. Ronaldo misses a penalty, unlike him. Fernandez in the second half misses that or extra time. It's all just connected as a blur to me. I can't remember which half most of the chances were happening in, but the fact that we're looking back at that result and we've only scored 1 goal from I think 28 chances is awful. And we've always said that, to be fair, over the last 18 to 24 months that we just can't break these teams down who come to Old Trafford or we go there and they sort of sit back. Middlesbrough didn't sit back in the aspect of 2 banks of 4, 4-4-2 and just get 10 men behind the ball every game. It was a different sort of sitting back from Middlesbrough. They were coming out to us, but as soon as they got 15-20 yards up the pitch, they would drop instantly back and they would just make us need to press them even more. So they played to Middlesbrough though because they wanted it more. They really held out in difficult spells. The first 20 minutes, we were excellent. We were absolutely all over them. And how they got out of that 20 minutes without conceding was very, credit where credit's due, and I'm sure.
I'm just waiting for Mike to take a breath so I can actually get in and ask a question. Sorry, Mike.
Go on.
Keith Daly says, thought this was an LCFC chat. It's an LCFC channel, but we're doing the weekend review, Keith. So we're looking at all the games, including the Leicester one. Elton, I actually had this one down as my possible shock of the round. You know, if there's going to be an upset, I'm sorry, Mike, but this was the one that I said could possibly go. Ronaldo missing that penalty. That was the first shock, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a shock. What funny. You're laughing. Mike's going to kill you. You know. The way Mike was talking before sounded very, very similar to things I've been saying for 18 months about Everton. There is something, Mike, sorry to tell you this, but there is something fundamentally wrong in the Man United dressing room. Something is fundamentally wrong. You got rid of Ollie, got Ralph in. There's just no spark. I don't know. There's one or two bad apples in there, and you really need to get rid of them. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, don't say, oh, well, what about you? In other words, what about Everton? Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. There aren't as many bad apples come today after the cup tie, but there's still leopards and spots and all that. We need a clear out. We haven't got a technical director, but we need a clear out.
I was saying, though, Elton, and I don't know whether you'll agree with me or Mike will agree with me. Those I know this is no disrespect, and I think I said this on a show earlier, Mike. You know, Manchester United had so much success under the Fergie years, if you like, and they were brilliant, and he was the best manager I think that was out there at the time. But if you look at Man United pre-Ferguson coming in, they were the equivalent of a Chelsea. They won the odd thing every now and again, and that was it. And they splashed a lot of money out. And now they've almost gone back to that. And I think, you forget that as good as they were during the Fergie years, they weren't that brilliant. Well, I say they weren't that brilliant. They actually got relegated before he came. And I think that sometimes is forgotten.
Yeah, I think we need to, as fans, you say this about Arsenal fans as well, need to realise where you are.
Oh, yes.
Not where you have been. And I think the club is massive, probably one of the biggest clubs in world football ever, Man United. But that's in terms of what we, like you said, we've won a couple of things post Fergie. I'm not going to say we haven't. We've won an FA Cup, won a Europa League, won a couple of things, won a Carabao Cup, EFL Cup, whatever it's called. So we have won stuff. It's not like, post Fergie, it's been awful. So there's been.
But you were doing that before. You were doing that before Fergie as well.
I was about to say, and like you said, before Fergie, we were winning the odd thing. But in between, in that Fergie era, it was basically if you beat Man United, you're classed as a fantastic team because it was impossible to do and it was a fortress. Now people come here and just think it's just a normal game.
I mean, Elton, I'm a bit worried that, and I get totally what Mike is saying. You only can talk about what football you can remember, and that is those because of your age, those years. It was. And my worry is that I'm falling into that same trap as a Leicester fan. I'm trying not to be too hard on Leicester because we've had two good years. And now we shouldn't expect to be up there just because we've had those last two good years.
Look, you'd have told a Leicester fan before you won the title under Ranieri and before you won the cup under Brendan Rodgers that those two things would happen, were achievable, you'd have got laughed at. You really would. I mean, I remember this when you won the title with I don't know, maybe 3 games to go. Well, it started round about January. People say, well, who's going to win the league? I said, well, it won't be Leicester. They'll fall apart. They can't last. They'll get injuries. Blah blah blah. Haven't got the squad. then it got like, 10 games to go. Well, Leicester will, they won't make it to the wire. Blah, blah, blah. So win. And then eventually, you won the title. It'll be, Leicester won't actually win it, Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the support. I remember the ground at the celebratory game when Nessun Dorma was belting all over the place.
I was only watching that the other night to cheer myself up.
Wow, I mean, but that was just magnificent. That was an occasion which I would have loved at Goodison Park, which we haven't seen at Goodison Park.
No.
It's 1987. Man, we didn't have Nessun Dorma then either. So, it was just fantastic. And I think everybody, fell in love with Leicester. They did.
Yes. I think we were, unless you were a Spurs or Arsenal fan, we were everybody's favourite second team.
They turned out to be the second team. And I don't think anyone begrudged them winning the FA Cup last season. I mean, get real, Leicester fans. If that's the way you feel, then seriously, get real. Take a reality check.
Exactly.
What's happened? The two trophies you've won, when you think of a club of Everton size, I can name a few more, but Everton size haven't won anything since 1995.
Yeah. And we'll have to say 3 trophies because, of course, although some people call it the Community Shield, I do like to think of it as the English Super Cup.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not.
The plate.
Bob Paisley used to say the most important thing was the Charity Shield. Then anyway, but
yes,
the most important thing about the Charity Shield is qualified for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And would he take the Charity Shield or 3 points the following week? No contest.
Yeah, I must admit. Our last point on this game, then we'll move on to Saturdays. It was good to see that Leicester ex-Leicester players can at least score in one game with Peltier and Bamba, who I didn't know were still playing, but managed to get penalties past Manchester United. Keith, I mean, you say here Fergie was lucky, 6 years, won FA Cup, then kids took over. He wasn't lucky at all. He had to develop those youngsters. How many youngsters fall by the field? It's not luck. It's not luck at all. I'm sorry, Keith. Everybody's entitled to opinion. I respect yours, but I'm sorry that wasn't luck.
I don't. I don't respect that opinion at all. With respect, Keith, Alex Ferguson was a genius, absolute genius.
Yeah, fantastic.
He. If you try to play mind games with Fergie, and I have, you'd lose. Seriously, you'd lose. No question about it.
Annihilated in some cases,
and you look at it. He kept changing his coach, didn't he? There was Brian Kidd, Steve McLaren, blah blah blah, a few others. But he still, he still won and won and won.
Yes,
I was there in Rotterdam when they won the Cup Winners' Cup when they beat Barcelona with Mark Hughes scoring a couple of times. And you got the feeling then that this was a huge momentum. Man United were going places, and of course, this was before the class of '92.
Yeah,
really. And if you look at, I mean, if that isn't genius, I mean, you tell me differently.
I mean, you do wonder. I mean,
came through from that youth team who were nurtured by Eric Harrison. Any top guy who's in charge of a leading academy in the Premier League, First Division as it was then, they will tell you if they get 1 or 2 players through 1 year, they would think that is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah,
United got 5, 6 in 1 year, and then all played together. Remember Alan Hansen's favourite comment. Famous comment. You don't win championships with kids.
Yeah. Although I don't know if you can include Phil Neville in that group or not, but the rest of them were good. Yes, and you've got to have the right.
Phil Neville was captain of Everton Football Club for years under
I
David.
I know. I shouldn't.
What an absolute gentleman he is, by the way. Phil Neville. Star guy. Yeah.
Let's have a look at Saturday. Otherwise, this will turn into the Man United show. And whilst Mike will love that.
Oh, no, it won't.
Viewers.
Oh, no, it won't.
I mean, we're not going to look at every game in too much detail, but the first two there, we'll start. I mean, Chelsea, Plymouth, you kind of expect, well, you did expect Chelsea to go through, but Plymouth, I mean, Mike, I'll come to you on this one. They took them to the limit, didn't they?
Yeah, Plymouth missed a penalty as well, I believe. And I've said this for a while about the FA Cup that I thought over the last couple of years, maybe the magic is starting to go, and normally you just see the bigger teams just prevail pretty comfortably. But Plymouth gave a real good account of themselves. They're doing well. I don't know where they are in the league now. I think they might just be outside the playoffs. But coming into the first couple of months in the season, they were excellent. They were top of League One, playing some lovely football and really getting very good results in a tough league. League One, it's a very tough league. Any EFL league is, and they were making it look so easy. And they've gone to Stamford Bridge. And they forced Chelsea to really find
the lead. They took the lead, didn't they?
Yeah. And they forced Chelsea to, throw everything at them, basically.
Yeah. Well, like I say, they went down fighting. And what I love about the round now, Elton, is that there's no, and I mentioned this before, we did almost the same show just before, didn't we, Mike? But what I love, Elton, is the fact that there's no replays. Because so often you see the lower club hold on, be winning until the last 5 minutes or so, then they get tired and goes back, and then they get stuffed 4-0 at the big club's home ground. When now it's got to be decided, and you get the things like the Nottingham Forest, the Middlesbrough, the Boreham Wood results, and it's great.
Yeah, I'm a dinosaur. I'm a great traditionalist, and when they announced that with the FA Cup, I felt exactly what you just said. When a lower league club goes and gets a result at a big ground, a draw, for example, at a big ground, and they don't get the replay, I thought that was sad. But I'm getting used to it. And I think the ones that, the kind of results that really, I tell you what I thought the end of the weekend yesterday. I thought, do you know what? The magic of the FA Cup's back here.
Yes,
because I think it's been sadly lacking in recent years. In the round stage, in the round stages, as opposed to the final, the semi-final, and the final. I thought it had lost a bit. Like, who cares? Who what? You look at the teams that some managers put out, and they're so under strength. Bournemouth against Boreham Wood made 9 changes from the previous league game.
Yeah.
Now that's not taking the competition seriously. That's undermining, in my view, the opponents, because they were the lowest rated club in the competition.
But then they get the comeuppance, don't they?
And then they got their comeuppance,
yeah.
And
I think Mike would
really
agree, though. I mean, we're not bothered about the FA Cup now, are we?
No, it's a rubbish competition. Anyway.
It is. Who wants to be in the FA Cup? We can concentrate on the league now.
and you can concentrate on your Conference League. We'll concentrate on the Champions League. We'll let
you're going to go far in that.
Chris, can I just disclose a little private thing there? Because I'm very aware that we're not talking too much about Leicester, and that's what you. When you contact me to say, would I come on? Yeah, no problem at all. I enjoy talking to you. And I put at the bottom of it, Rodgers out, ?
Yes,
emoji,
you did.
Emoji. And you said, you replied, yes, I agree with you. Sorry, I said it was a joke.
Yes,
but you said there are murmurs. I think that was the word you used. There are murmurs of people.
Yes.
Listen, be careful for what you wish for, Leicester
I know.
fans.
Oh, we will, and we'll come on to Leicester sort of in a bit. But
we ended up with Rafa. He is now out of work, so you could end up with Rafa. Believe me, you do not want that.
We've had Peter Taylor out. We sympathise with you. But going back to what we're saying, Kidderminster Harriers. I mean, again, it was at their place. They were so unlucky. I mean, that 95th minute goal.
Yeah, they conceded in the last minute of normal time and in the last minute of extra time. I mean, that is cruel.
Just really unlucky, yeah.
Oh, very much.
I did feel really, really sorry for them. But again, they were so close to the dream. And I think that was one of those games that had it ended a draw in the old days and gone to West Ham would have probably put the full strength team out from the start and would have gone on to win four.
And it probably would have been live on television again. Yeah. And Kidderminster wouldn't have to worry about a penny for the next sort of 5 years. So, I mean, that's what, you've got to bear in mind when you deny these clubs replays.
Yeah. Well, my local team, Newport, we've had a few replays and teams and games against big teams like Tottenham, Man City a few seasons ago, and that's why we're
you put us out a few seasons ago, Mike. That's what you're building.
Yeah, we put Leicester out. That was a great night.
Yes,
but I agree with Elton there. If Kidderminster would have got a trip to West Ham, it would have financially kept them stable for another 5-10 years, like he said.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, they almost earned their replay because it was level at the end of normal time, albeit West Ham equalising very, very late. But they had done enough to earn that lucrative replay.
Yeah,
and it's just a great shame.
As a small club, though, I know we haven't got the replays now, but would you prefer to go through at that game, or would you prefer it to be a draw and come back, for the money? Because if you're through, you get another big team, in the fifth round. You're not far off the quarterfinals.
I think the answer to that is, well, certainly from the playing staff. You can't speak about the directors and the money men of the smaller clubs. But I would think get through and then pray that you get Man United, Liverpool away in the next round.
Yeah. I mean, the next game, Palace, we'd expected them to win Hartlepool. I mean, the Everton-Brentford game, we won't talk about that one at all. We'll move on quickly.
I've already mentioned
Barnsley.
I've already mentioned it.
But Elton, I think I had that down for a draw after 90 minutes. Where the hell did that performance come from?
Frank Lampard.
Really, he's made that much difference in that shorter length of time.
Yeah, well, he is our new manager, and the new manager factor that often happens, doesn't it?
Yes.
But in his case, he's got charisma, which you could see exudes from him. Now, the guy that he succeeded had no charisma whatsoever. He was a boring, fat Spanish waiter.
Say what you think, Elton. Don't hold back.
I always do, Chris. I get myself into a lot of trouble. Don't ask me about women's football, for God's sake.
No. We won't touch that.
Moving on.
Yeah. Have you got me still? You've just gone.
Yep, there. Still got you. Yes.
All right. Okay, that's good. You got visually as well.
Yeah, you're frozen, but we can still see a lovely picture of you.
I've got a thing on the bottom of the screen saying install now. I have done.
Right now, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. I'm getting to technical genius when I
you are. Come on and sort my problems out. That was tempting fate, wasn't it? While we're waiting on Elton, Dorco says here in January 71 he was at Goodison and saw Alan Ball, Kendall and Harvey destroy Chelsea with their Osgood and Chopper Harris 3-0. I was only 13. Keith Weller came on for Leicester. Were you surprised at that result, Mike?
In terms of the result, no. In terms of the scoreline, yes. I think I expected Everton to win. The new manager bounce was one aspect of it. Frank Lampard being good in the FA Cup. I remember him. I think he was in charge when they played Man United, when Derby played Man United, or especially took Derby into the fourth round or something like that, and was pretty good with Chelsea as well. So he's always managed to, get through these tough games where Brentford would have been up for it. Yes, it's a Premier League fixture, but still Everton are the massive favourites. And I did expect Everton to win, but to win 4-1 against a Premier League rival, really, because I think they're next to each other in the table or a couple of places
very
between.
Close, yes.
Yeah. And for Lampard to turn that around that quickly.
In fact, Brentford are 14th and Everton are 16th.
So yeah, a team that has statistically done better than you, and he's turned them around 4-1 in what has only been a week or so. I think he's been in charge, which is absolutely fantastic for him. I mean, like Elton said,
I wouldn't have expected that at all. I mean, I'm just looking at hang on, if my thing decides to work. Here we go. I had it down as I had it down as a draw at full time. I was totally wrong with that. I have, what else we talked about? Chelsea, Plymouth, I had as a draw at full time, so I did well on that one. And I had West Ham, obviously, to beat Kidderminster Harriers, but at full time. So, I mean, so hopefully we'll get Elton back and we can talk to him about the 70s. Huddersfield beating Barnsley, but then Man City, Fulham. I know Fulham are top of the Premier League, but that was expected, wasn't it?
You can just see the gulf and difference between the top of the Premier League and the top of the Championship, can't you? And
yeah,
I mean, look at the squad that City put out. It wasn't, rubbish. Obviously, it's not going to be, but it was nowhere near their full strength team. And they still beat the best team in the second tier of England 4-1, which just shows the depth they have. And to answer your question, it was. I think that was the only one this weekend that you could have seen as a guaranteed win was Man City winning.
I mean, Fulham, like you say, the top of the Championship. Not that long ago, there were a Premier League team, and it's scary to think there is that much of the gap. I mean, they do say, and I've got to agree, the Premier League itself is divided into sort of the top 6, and then probably the next 10, and then the bottom, few. But yeah, Fulham, you got to look at that and you got to think, wow, you know what I mean?
And that's not Man
fan, you're thinking, do we want to go up again?
and you've got to look at it as well. That's not Man City's full team.
No, exactly.
And if that was, you'd probably be safe to say, without having your head chopped off, that you'd probably chuck a couple more goals on Man City's 4 if that was, because I know Nathan Ake and John Stones with a centre back partnership. You don't see that in the Premier League. It's normally Laporte and Diaz, so they probably don't even concede the goal. But it just shows how solid Man City are from top to bottom.
Talking of which, and I was having something to eat earlier, and the I don't know if you ever watch it, but on ITV4 they have the big match revisited.
Yes,
yeah. And on today it was Fulham. I can't remember who they were playing, but Fulham were playing. And I'm not sure again what division. I sort of came sort of just as they were kicking off, so I missed all the build-up. But 3 players in that Fulham team of the time, and I think they was in the top division, but it was Bobby Moore, the England captain who lifted the World Cup, Rodney Marsh. You probably don't know half of these names. Rodney Marsh, who was...
Have you heard of Bobby Moore?
You've heard of Bobby Moore, yeah. Rodney Marsh was a very flamboyant... Gaza sort of figure, if you like. And then this one you will have heard of, also in that team, was George Best.
Wow. Yeah, I remember he played for Fulham. I didn't realise it was the same time as Bobby Moore. Wow.
I know. And you're thinking like, wow, we look at it now and you've got, Burnley get the odd player like, that's coming on the way down. They had Gascoigne, they had Ian Wright, etc. But those 3, all in
Aaron Lennon they've got now.
Well, exactly. Is he ever in his prime though? But you know what I mean? But those 3 players, I'm thinking like, big up Fulham. And I'll tell you what, in them days, and I'm sure Dorco will agree with me, that was when men played the game. Yeah, when you can put a tackle in.
Vinnie Jones.
And get away with it. But the next lot of Saturday fixtures then... Oh, God, we've done the Manchester City one. It's been put on twice. Peterborough, Queen's Park. I mean, you know more probably about the lower divisions. I had that down as a draw, so I didn't know much about that. Was that an expected win, or because they're in different divisions? Are they? Or
no, they're both in the Championship. That is a massive shock.
Yeah.
Peterborough are towards the bottom, and fighting for their lives, and Queen's Park Rangers are fighting for promotion. So that was when I saw that result, I was massively shocked. I in my head, I went 3 or 4-1 to Queen's Park Rangers. I just thought they would just annihilate Peterborough, but Stephen Bender, who's the Peterborough goalkeeper signed from Swansea, was man of the match and was excellent. And I watched a couple of the highlights, and they deserved it. And sometimes you can. I think they've got Man City in the next round, or someone like that. I think they've got someone big in the next round, and that's just what it's about. If you're struggling in the league, sometimes a break from that into cup action can propel you on to. They might even go on to stay up now in the Championship, because they might think, we can beat Queen's Park Rangers, who are top of this league in a cup competition.
I do. I don't think I know about Peterborough. It's only just down the A47 from Leicester, and the guy that's the Adrian Durham on Talk Sport is a Peterborough fan, and that's probably why I'm not so keen on Peterborough. But yeah, they are hosting Man City in the next round, so they have got a good draw there. I'm pleased with this next result, as you know from the show earlier. Southampton beating Coventry City. To Coventry City, but again, it wasn't easy for them. And I did have this down as a Southampton win, but it took them to extra time.
I actually had this as the shock. I said this would be the shock of the round. I thought Coventry would. Obviously, I was expecting both of our teams to win in both of our games. Unfortunately, we didn't, but. I definitely thought Coventry would have. Not give too much of a fight, because they did. They took them to extra time, like you said. But what Mark Robbins has done at Coventry this year is absolutely fantastic, and he's changed the whole sort of look of that team. But like you said, most of these teams that are just getting by, you like Southampton, Chelsea, West Ham, it's just like getting over the line in the cup, isn't it? And that's exactly what Southampton done. Just finding a way.
At the end of the day, they'll never remember that. All Man United fans will remember is that you lost to Middlesbrough. Our fans remember we lost to Forest. It's not always the number of goals or the score or whatever that is remembered. But Stoke Wigan, it was 2 to Stoke. Again, Championship there. Wigan, I think, are below that, aren't they?
Wigan are towards the top of League One. So again, another one where the top end of Championship against the top end of League One. Stoke are good. Stoke are a good side. And I know a lot of Premier League fans will not want them back in the Premier League for that cold Tuesday night in Stoke.
Yes.
But I really would love to see them back in there. They if you get rid of Burnley, you've got to bring Stoke in. And I think Stoke done what Stoke are known for, just grinding it out. Wigan, it's interesting with Wigan, because obviously they won the FA Cup that year. They got relegated, and it just sensed like, they could go on a really deep run in the FA Cup, and obviously got ended by Stoke. But I think their main aim now will be promotion, Wigan. But Stoke just getting over the line. Not a shock. I did expect them to win that one.
We will have a look at the next round in a minute, but Stoke travelling to Crystal Palace for the next round. So we've then got Wolves Norwich. Norwich, they could. They probably didn't want to get through, and in a strange way, because they've got bigger fish to fry in trying to stay up in the Premier League. But again, they went to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Dean Smith is slowly starting to get a tune out of that team.
I don't think they have to worry about getting any further in the FA Cup, because they've got to go to Liverpool. But
you've got a point there.
But like you said, Dean Smith is doing bits here, and you'd obviously look at it as though that they are going to get beat by Liverpool. So providing they do, I think, like you said, they probably don't want to win that. Didn't want to win this game against Wolverhampton, and they definitely don't want to beat Liverpool, because they'll be in a quarter-final then, and I don't think they want that, trying to stay up. And he's just doing stuff that, the previous Norwich managers have not done, just getting results. And I think I do like what he's doing. He's changed sort of feel around Norwich. They seem a bit more optimistic rather than, oh, it's another match day, it's another loss. I think he could potentially try and keep them up or come close to doing that.
I mean, he's won 3 on the trot now, 2 of them in the league, which was Everton and Watford, and whether Everton turn it round now under Lampard, but they are competitors there for being in the relegation, rivals. So that was 2 excellent wins for him. But then, like I say, to go to Wolves and get something as well, and I don't know whether Wolves, they hadn't lost in 5. So whether they've got a full strength team out or not, I don't know. And Elton, bless him, he keeps trying to get in, and I think he's having problems with his phone. I can see him popping up, but it's just never connecting. So well done, Norwich. And I actually called that phenomenally. If anybody wants to know the lottery numbers, I'm your man. Okay, the next Cambridge Luton. Again, you probably know more about this, but as I said earlier, I do like Luton as a team. We've had a few good games against them. We got James Justin from them. They look after. We do loan quite a few players to Luton, and they really do look after them and bring them on. And Dewsbury Hall was an amazing loan down there, and he did really well. Was this not a surprise, or was this a surprise?
I think Cambridge are still on the hangover of going to Newcastle and winning. That what they done at Newcastle in the 3rd round was excellent. I love to see it as a League 2 fan. I love to see League 1 and League 2 teams going away to these Premier League teams or Championship teams and beating them. Yes, I hate to see it not being us, but to fly the EFL flag high is always good. And it just seems like they've just been dragged down to earth by Luton. Like you said, are a good side, and they know how to look after their loan signings from Premier League clubs. I think they've got a couple there at the moment. They've got Cameron Jerome as well, who was a Premier League experienced striker. They've got a few really decent players in that team. It was just too comfortable for Luton. I don't think that that Cambridge really had too much of a sniff due to probably in all of that from the Newcastle game.
Evening, Niall. Welcome along. How are you doing? And this was probably a result that if you didn't live in the white part of North London, you wanted Brighton to win, but Tottenham did enough. They smothered Brighton. I was disappointed because I think Brighton. Leicester are struggling, so I do like to see, as I've always said, the smaller teams doing well. But Tottenham did what they had to know, what they needed to do, didn't they?
Yeah, Tottenham normally are quite consistent in the FA Cup. I must say, normally they get to get to round 5, round 6 of the FA Cup. You always see them in the quarterfinal draw. And they're always around there, and they always seem to get teams like Brighton and Wolves and Watford and teams like that, teams that are mid to bottom end Premier League sides. They seem to always get them, which is annoying. But yeah, a professional win from Tottenham. I think Harry Kane scored in that. I'm not too sure, but Brighton
he probably did.
Stat pad. But no, yeah. Just to get into the next round against a good Brighton side. They are a good side, Brighton, with a very tactical manager. Had to get that in there. But yeah, a nice solid win.
I've got to say, people that sort of watch the channel regularly, listen to my comments, see my comments, I have nothing against Graham Potter, and I hope that he goes on, because we haven't got enough English managers or British managers, whatever you want to look at it. We do need more. It's just this big build-up that he is this absolutely wonderful, wonderful player. Look, it's like Brendan Rodgers. Now, last season, he was being linked with Man United. He was being linked with Barcelona, Real Madrid. Was he that good? No, but he's probably better than he is now. But he's not been linked with any of those teams now. And everybody's going mad about Graham Potter because he's had one good season when he kept them up, and he looks like he's having another good season. Go on and win something, Graham, and then I will say you're a good manager now. But if you can win something, then you would be a better manager. So that's my feelings on Graham Potter. That I'd love to see him sort of do, win something and then prove everybody very wrong. Apparently, I think there was a few games on Sunday, but we haven't really got time to look at Sunday. So
yeah, so nothing happened on Sunday. Actually, no, one result did happen at Anfield that I'm absolutely buzzing about, which happened on Sunday.
I know. We have got to look at this, unfortunately, and we'll start with Liverpool again. I mean, obviously, being a Newport fan, you were glad to see Cardiff sort of get stuffed. I mean, did you watch it? Was it all one-way traffic? Because, I mean, obviously the result was expected.
I did watch it because I just wanted to see how many it was. I was hoping it was going to be a lot more than a 2-goal margin, but I'm not going to say it. But Liverpool's opposition played quite decent in that game, and they give them, because I don't want to even mention their name, but they did play well for parts. I think maybe they got a wrong decision with Kelleher potentially. Could have been sent off for Liverpool for that challenge on Mark Harris, but as Liverpool's opposition's manager said, he said that we played well, we made a good account of ourselves. To only lose by 2 against a very good Liverpool side, obviously the debut of Luis Diaz for Liverpool. But yeah, I would have expected it to be a lot more comfortable than what it was. Yeah. But the side Liverpool put out, if it was their full strength team, it wouldn't have been that. But yeah, good to see Liverpool get through. Never thought I'd say that.
I never thought I would be saying this scoreline either, but Nottingham Forest 4, Leicester City 1. Elton, by the way, can't get back on. I think he said he was downloading something on his phone, and I think that's stopping him sort of connecting with us. So he'll be back another Monday for another show. So we do thank Elton for at least popping on. It's great to have him on, especially those of us of a certain age that say that remember Elton from the TV. As I say, the Jeff Stelling of his day. But going back to this match, which he touched on earlier, I can't believe the score, and I'm going to take nothing away, as I've said on many occasions, nothing away from Nottingham Forest. They thoroughly deserved it. They were the better team on the day. We were bad, this happens to Leicester all the time. When we beat Man United, it's because Man United were bad, not that we were good. So we were bad. We didn't help ourselves. But having said that, Nottingham Forest have still got to put the ball in the net, still got to score the 4 goals, which they did very, very easily. Facebook user earlier on, and I've saved it obviously till we've come to the game, sort of, why didn't Casper play? Because basically we have to give Danny Ward some games. And I think it's always known that Danny Ward would play in the FA and the Carabao Cups. But he's a damn good goalkeeper. He was a £12 million goalkeeper. He's Welsh national goalkeeper. We know, he's got us to finals before. He's a good penalty stopper. But a goalkeeper can only be as good as the 4 players in front of him, or the 3, or the 4, whichever way, you're setting your defence out. And I think, you look at Leicester's defence, and I think I said earlier, and if you go onto the BBC iPlayer and search the football news show, my 15 minutes of fame, I'm on there talking to the BBC guys, and I was saying to them, we've had 7 defenders out at some point during the season. We've got Castagna, who's an international, Pierre, who's an international, and Pierre's only just come back. Castagna's still out. We've had Fofana out all season. We haven't played the same defence for more than 2 games running. And I think that shows because there's no understanding there. Your thoughts on this game?
Well, I actually didn't see the first half of it. I couldn't see the first half. I didn't have any idea of the score. Walked in and it was 3-1 to Nottingham Forest. So I was very shocked, obviously, like every Leicester fan, probably even every Nottingham Forest fan, every football fan by this result. So I had to watch the goals back, and And like you said, the three, all four of them, but the three in particular, those first 3 goals that Forest scored, you should have just basically said, where's our midfield? Because they just basically run right through. Kelechi's goal was good, to be fair to him.
I think he was assisted by a rush of blood to the head of the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, though.
Yes, very much so. And just to, it does seem weird that that scoreline, but like you said, it's not down to look, Leicester were poor, Leicester were this, Leicester were that. You've got to look at Nottingham Forest. They controlled the midfield. They run through the midfield at times. James Garner, I'm not doing it because he is a Man United player, but he was very good. Yeah. He was very good in that midfield. I thought Brennan Johnson, who's also Welsh international, was very good as well. And it just seemed like, I hope you don't take offence to this, but it just seemed like Leicester were 11 individuals thinking we're better than you, and Forest were a team. And I think that's what won the game.
I made the point before the game that we had one local player in that team, Luke Thomas. Nobody else was a Leicester lad or a Leicester born and bred player. So how much would they think the beating Nottingham Forest would mean to them? They don't get the derbies like the fans and the homegrown players do. It was a good time to play us. That kind of summed our season up. Typical Leicester, we might go and beat Liverpool now away on Thursday. That's our sort of season. And it is a season. We did predictions for this, myself, Chloe and Dan, and we all, out of 16 ties, we all got 7. You just can't predict this season. It is a weird season. And Leicester are having the weirdest season that we've ever had. And like I said at the start, maybe because we'd had 2 very good seasons. I don't know, but I'm worried about, Brendan's come out and says, exactly what you said. There's some players there that might think they're better than they actually are. And to me, I'm thinking, hang on, is this the first sign of cracks that we're seeing here? Because for a manager to come out and say that about his players, and Brendan normally keeps all his criticism behind closed doors. When he punished Chowdhury and Barnes and Maddison for the COVID gate scandal, it was all done behind closed doors, But for him to come out and say that, it's like he's trying to shift the blame here. Because I tell you what, these players, this is your team, Brendan. This is your 3rd season. You've been here 3 years. You brought the players in that you want in. Otherwise, it's basically the same team as last season. And last season, they weren't like this. I don't want him to go, but the book stops with the manager, doesn't it?
Yeah, I said to you earlier, I can't remember if it was on this show or an earlier show, but I said the reason why the manager gets the sacking and gets the big money is because they have to make the big decisions. A player can't bring a player in, a player can't let a player go. It all falls down to, obviously the owners at the very top, but in terms of on the pitch, it falls down to the managers and the assistant, mostly the manager. But it, like you said, the cracks may be starting to show, or maybe starting to think, I've got to, the blame is being put on me heavily here. If I say this and sort of wipe a bit of it under the carpet, but I don't think that's the right thing to do. Like you said, this squad have got you 5th two seasons previous and won an FA Cup. So it's not like these are a bunch of absolute nobodies, is it? They're internationals.
Not at all. And I think you've also got to consider as well, and I said this, the question that I would ask is, have Leicester been punching above the weight? For any team outside the so-called, and we'll call them the ESL 6 for want of a better word.
But, that's a better word, yeah.
But outside of that ESL 6, for you to actually break into that, you need one of those teams not to do very well. When we won the league, we won the league, and we deservedly won the league because we won the most games over the 38. But Man City announced the manager was leaving with 10 games to go. So that kind of ended any chance they had. Man United was under Louis van Gaal and wasn't your best years. Liverpool was still trying to sort of settle in with Klopp. So there's a lot of other things going on. And for the last couple of seasons, Tottenham haven't been there, Arsenal haven't been there, but they're coming back this season. So there is more competition for that place that was almost, Leicester are going to be 4th or 5th, but there's more competition for that 4th or 5th now,
Yeah, what you've got now is you've got you've got Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool there. Then you've got like Leicester, West Ham, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham just below it, and then below that you've got Wolves, Villa, Everton, Brighton, and all these teams. So they're squashing Leicester in the middle.
Yes. I mean, Facebook user from earlier, why did Leicester take Barnes off? Because he wasn't having a good game. But you could have taken any 10 of the outfield players off, to be totally honest with you, because none of them were having a good game. Brad, good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Says, to be fair, I think Brendan has been very calm and gave chances to certain players when they've let the... Sorry, let's start this again with my teeth in. To be fair, I think Brendan has been very calm and given chances to certain players when they've let the club down. And yesterday sounds like it was the last straw. Quite possibly. I just don't like him coming out. And all joking aside about Wenger, he never saw anything, did he? If it was a foul on an Arsenal player, he saw it. If it was the other way around, he never saw anything. But whatever he did his business behind the scenes. But maybe Brendan's had enough, like Brad says there, and the times are now for him to maybe give a bit of a public, bollocking, if you like. There's talk of a big clear out in the summer. This is the team that got us to 5th 2 years. Who are we going to get rid of? I don't think we should get rid of Brendan. And there's a lot of undercurrent, we see it posted in the book. I've got mates that message me, Jason and what have you, that want Brendan gone. But you've got to sometimes, like I say, you had a season when you won nothing under Fergie, but the season before and the season after you did, but you didn't get rid of him. You can't just have that knee-jerk reaction, can you?
You're still in Europe as well. I mean, the strength in that competition is massively downgraded. So I think you and Roma, are the massive favourites to go and win that. So I know you've said before on this channel that you don't like the fact of dropping out of one competition to go in another, but the matter of the fact is you're in a European competition that you are not many games away from winning. So that would be some achievement for not just Brendan as personally.
I'd take it. It's a trophy, and it's the first. It's the inaugural one, and that we would be in the record books. But Watford, you sacked your manager after 12. You're in 12th position. How did that work out? If this time next year we're still in this position, then let's start asking questions. But we're not. When Ranieri went after winning us the league, we were either 18th or 17th. We were certainly there or thereabouts when there was fear of us going down. We're not going to go down. There's worse teams than us out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it is stupid to be talking about getting rid of Brendan. And who would replace him? You can name all these names, but we're Leicester. We haven't got the pulling power of in fairness, and hurts to say, but Man United. I've said to you before, people should be walking over glass to take that job. This is Leicester, but hey, at the end of the day, we can concentrate on Europe now. But the big talking point, and absolutely, this sums up for me the FA Cup. Bournemouth 0, Boreham Wood, who I think in the 6th tier, is it that of football? 5th. So are you sure it's the 5th? No, Kidderminster were in the 5th. I think Boreham were in the 6th because Boreham were lower than Kidderminster.
Kidderminster were in the National League North, and Boreham Wood were in the National League.
Well, it was a great job by them. They're still in it. this is what the FA Cup's all about, isn't it?
Well, I said when Elton was on and towards the top end of the show that that I thought the FA Cup magic was dying, and you see some teams. I'm not saying Leicester do, because they don't, but Tottenham, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United. Some of the teams that they put out in the FA Cup rounds are a nail on embarrassing when you look at the teams that they're playing against. I remember. I can't remember the year. I think it was 2014, 2015. Man United played Yeovil away from home, played a very weak side. Not very weak, but a lot of players that would never get in the first team. I think we ended up winning that 1 or 2-0, and it was very scrappy. But just seeing Boreham Wood and seeing that, away end when they scored that goal and at full time, you just worry that these little teams because they are little, go to Championship, Premiership sides thinking it's impossible and sort of feel defeated before they turn up. But what a story.
I mean, last season, Bournemouth were a Premier League club. They've been a Premier League club for 4 or 5 seasons, came up the season after us. They're third in the Championship. There's no way they should have been losing that.
No, you play that tie 9 more times, Bournemouth will win the 9.
Yeah,
and it's just basically that 1 in 10, and it's happened, and it's even sweeter to do it away from home. Like Boreham Wood will not care if they've not date Bournemouth, if it's at Bournemouth, Boreham Wood, Wembley, wherever it is, they won't care. But to go to the I need to call them a Premiership side, because that's what they're known for in the last 5 years.
They're apart from last season, and they may well be next season as well.
Yeah, so a very high sort of well-regarded team, Bournemouth, and they seem to be that team that just could be prone to an upset, because they were upsetting teams, on their way up to the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, they made some good signings over the window. Cantwell came on at half time. Solanke came on with sort of 10 minutes, 13 minutes to go.
I think Ryan Christie came on as well, who was a very good player.
Yeah, he came on at half time with Cantwell. There's and they scored after 38 minutes. So you've got, almost 3/4 of the game left, Bournemouth, to get back into it. And just looking at the stats here, and I know stats don't tell you much. I mean, but they had 82% possession. But the thing was, they had 18 shots, Bournemouth. Do you know how many of those were on target? 2.
Oh yeah. As soon as you said that, I just had to have a look. 2 shots on target.
2 shots on target. I mean, that's almost. I could be looking at Leicester stats there.
And to flip that, Boreham would have 2 shots, 3 shots, 1 on target, and they score it. It's
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I think we can say, Mike, that thanks Boreham Wood, because Man United losing, Leicester losing wasn't the biggest news. Of the round. So
because it's not going to get highlighted. Man United and cup holders Leicester. It's going to be Boreham Wood shot Championship Bournemouth. So cheers for that.
Brad says Mendy, Hamza, Yuri, Perez, Vestergaard, release, Sayuncha, all gone come summer. As long as we replace them, and we got to replace them with better. I mean, there's only one in there, Yuri, that you'd be not say disappointed. I wouldn't want Hamza to go. I mean, you'd literally taken 4 players out of our midfield. Vestergaard, let's be honest with you, he could get a job as a lamppost, do whatever he wants. And Soyuncu needs to rediscover his form. Mendy is an AFCON winner. What can we say? He's give him his credit. Well, there was one game in the football Premier League that wasn't an FA Cup tie. But we're going to have a look at a very, very quick look at the next round, and also that game straight after this.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform,
or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Yeah, please give us a like and a sub. It really does help support the channel. If you can sub us, that would be great. So, Mike, I mean, look, next round, Palace, Stoke, Peterborough, Man City, Middlesbrough, Tottenham, Forest, Huddersfield, Luton Town, Chelsea, Liverpool, Norwich, Everton, Boreham Wood, Southampton, West Ham. I mean, most of the big teams there have avoided another big team. So it looks like when it gets to the later stages, it's going to be the same old again. I mean, the two matches that kind of tempt me to say I might watch them on the telly is obviously Everton, Boreham Wood.
Yeah.
Simply because it's Boreham Wood. I mean, if Everton carry on like they are, you'd think they'd get through. And Southampton, West Ham.
I'd like to see Peterborough, Man City. I'd like to see how Peterborough go about that. I know, obviously, you know, we're talking about a Man City side that have just thrashed up. Big up Nipman. Just thrashed, you know, top of the table Championship side 4-1. So I'm not going to say Peterborough have a chance of beating them, but Man City do have this habit of dropping or struggling against lower league oppositions. They've lost to Burnley in the past, lost to Middlesbrough, lost to Wigan a couple of seasons ago at this stage in the competition. So maybe look to that. But apart from that, like you said, it's just so routine. I mean, Luton have to play Chelsea after a nice result. Norwich have gone away to Wolves, and then you go Norwich. That's, you know, have Anfield. It just seems like Middlesbrough as well.
I can't see any game there, and I'd love to say Boreham Wood can take Everton all the way, but I can't see any game there that's not going to go against the sort of, you know, Palace should beat Stoke, Man City should beat Peterborough, Tottenham should beat Middlesbrough. Yeah, Forest, Huddersfield possibly, but in fairness, it is Championship, so not particularly bothered.
It's an all playoff game as well, so that could be the playoff final.
Well, Luton have got Chelsea, so you think Chelsea will win that, and you're going to think Liverpool are going to beat Norwich. So Everton, Boreham Wood, I'd want to watch simply because, like I say, I want to see if Boreham Wood can carry the dream on, and we'd all love them to. But for me, it's just the Southampton West Ham is the one that I couldn't call, and that's, I think, why I would love to see that. Good evening, Chelsea Perspective. How the devil are you? Along with Nippon, welcome both. Dan is probably still in the shower, knowing him. There's a lot of him to wash. And I'm not meaning down there.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I am, and remember, I have seen him topless. There is a lot of him to watch, I'll tell you. I may be wearing a training bra, but he's got the full adult version, I'll tell you. But we look at this game here. I mean, 0-0. It was unexciting, uneventful. I stopped watching it on the telly and came in here to do some work on the PC. So I had it on the radio, and that always makes it sound more exciting. And to be honest with you, it's done neither of them any good.
No, you don't want a point, especially when you've got your competitors, Norwich. Trying to think who else. You've got Norwich, Everton, Brentford, all playing in the FA Cup, who, yes, may not be down there, Everton and Brentford, because, like you said, I think they're 14th and 16th, but Norwich are definitely down there, and you don't want to be in a position where they're not playing. Newcastle as well, weren't playing on this match day. They're not playing, so you've got to, you know, sort of take that initiative and go and win the game. Like you said, it's not a good result for Burnley. It's definitely not a good result for Watford. It's a boring game for both of them. They both would have needed the points, but I think it's a bigger win. It's a bigger result for Watford. It's a huge result for Watford.
Yes, I think you look at the fact that it's Roy Hodgson, but you know he kept Palace up for a few years when they were favourites to go down. He can sort of defence out, and you know, if Watford finish 17th, they will be happy. But Burnley, I just can't. They've won one game all season. You know, it's only the draws. it's only the draws that have sort of taken them above the Derby lowest ever points total. And Burnley have got Man United next. You know, well, you're going to be talking about the game later, aren't you, with Dan? So
I think they've got Liverpool after Burnley. Burnley have got Liverpool after Man United, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, Chris Walsh, thank you very much, mate. And he's just subbed. Thank you so much, mate. He's really appreciated. Thumbs up to you. He didn't realise Mike was here. Well, you know, desperate times, mate. Desperate times. I've got to be honest with you. At least I don't need an interpreter. I did a quiz the other day, and I had Niall on, bless him, and was playing Reese. Bloody hell, I could have done with subtitles. Oh, the new, yeah. Oh, what the hell is it? Well, how can I say if that's right or wrong in the quiz? I can't even bloody understand what you're saying. At least I can understand Mike, you know.
When they say the answer, when you say the answer, say, yeah, that's what I said, mate.
Yes, honestly, it was like watching the flower pot men. Slobber, lobber, 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 lobber. I'll tell you. He didn't watch it, so you're lucky. Chelsea perspective, probably again that both teams didn't want to risk too much, so I'm not surprised it ended in a draw. Neither team wanted to lose it. Yeah. I grant you, but one team needed to win it, and neither of them did, you know. It's going to be interesting to see who goes down. I've got to be honest with you, Chris. I am more interested in that bottom bit of the table than I am the top, because I think the top's as good as over. Does it bother me? And no disrespect, Mike, but does it bother me whether Man United get in the Champions League place or West Ham? Nah. Not, you know, yeah, kind of, you know, interested, but I am. It could be. I mean, you're looking up to Everton. Leeds on 22 aren't out of it. Brentford they've lost 4 in a trot on 23. You know, they could all be dragged into it. You think Liverpool would be safe, Everton would be safe now, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to go probably down to the wire, isn't it?
Well, Burnley are 3 points behind with 3 games in hand. So you've got to be winning at least one of those games in hand. If Burnley fail to pick up any points or, you know, pick up a couple of draws, you've got to be, you know, unfortunately, and unfortunate for Dan, if you're watching, you've got to feel like they're going to go down, unfortunately.
You have, because you can't see them. We all say we'd sooner have points on the board than games in hand, but you can't see them winning those games, can you?
I think one of their games in hand is against Tottenham, which I don't think they're going to win. The other one was against Watford.
One of them is against us.
Yeah, so
they might win that one. They might actually be able to win that one.
I was just about to say, actually, Chris, I think they've got a good chance against you.
Yeah, I know. No, I can't argue there, mate. No. I tell you what, Leicester City actually won at the weekend. They've actually made a gap between them and Birmingham, so it looks like Birmingham could go down. Let's put the women's team out. Hope they don't notice, because they're playing better than the men at the moment.
Well, disguise winners, Son Yuchu.
Yeah. I tell you what, when they say like, what's your starting lineup? I'm just gonna pick the Leicester women's team. Yeah. Chris Welsh, rather have points on board than rely on. Yes, of course. As I say, we would, especially when you're that end of the table and they are just in a rut. So, sorry, Dan. Sorry, Burnley. But who do you think is going to go down, Mike? We'll end with that one.
Burnley. In this order, Burnley, Watford, Newcastle.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I've got to say, I think Burnley. Watford, I think it's just, I just hate how they deal with their managers.
Hence why I've gone them, yeah.
Yeah. I just think, you deserve. I mean, first of all, what numbskull at Watford appointed Ranieri? And as I've always said, as much as I love him for what he did, he isn't a relegation fighting manager.
He got Fulham relegated, didn't he?
He got Fulham, exactly, And Watford, you get what you deserve. So I hope you go down, and I think you will. I don't think Roy.
He's
You're
good.
looking at how Everton are improving. Leeds strung a couple of wins together. I think it's between Newcastle and Norwich because, as I say, I think Frank will slowly turn Everton round, and they may be there or thereabouts. But I think they'll have enough under him, and they made some good signings in the window.
I think Leeds could finish quite high this year because Bielsa is probably thinking, looking behind him, there's 3 worse teams than him, so he might be thinking because we know what Leeds do. They play, this so open football that they just go for it and. I can see Dean Smith keeping Norwich up. I really can. He looks like he's settling a lot of. He's got rid of Cantwell, and I think Cantwell was sort of seen as the big fish in the small pond sort of thing, and he's got a more unified team now. I think he keeps them up.
I must admit, Chris, I can't decide. It's definitely for me. Burnley and Watford are definitely down. I can't decide between Norwich and Newcastle. I think Newcastle. I just don't think they're particularly. I don't think Chris Wood is the man to get the goals that will keep them up, but I could be wrong. But anyway, we will see. I tell you what, I'm going to nail me. I'm going to go Newcastle. I'm going to go Burnley, Watford, Newcastle, which I think is what you went for. Yeah. So, and it wasn't the 3 that I said at the start of the season. So,
my 3 at the start of the season was Southampton, Palace, and Norwich. How I've got that wrong?
Oh well, you and me both, mate. You and me both. But I'll call you Chris then. Chris said Newcastle have buyed themselves out of it. Hopefully they go down. If they go down, the thing is they will come back stronger. That's the thing with the club.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you so much for joining us. We did have Elton, so thank you very much for Elton if he's still watching. Elton Welsby, unfortunately, internet problems at his end. So hopefully we'll get that sorted, and he will be on. He has said he will come on whenever we want him to, so that's nice. So thank you. But Mike, I'm going to put your details in the stream afterwards. How can people find you? Presuming, obviously, that they want to find you.
well, if you do want to find my channel, there we go. Mike Green on YouTube, just the name there. Mike Green on YouTube, very simple. So just chuck a sub on that'll be much appreciated. But yeah, thanks for Chris for getting me on, and subscribe to Leicester Till I Die.
Guys, thank you. And guys, remember, free the Welsh one. Free. I'm starting this campaign. I'm going to start a fundraising campaign. The nearest thing we got to this, for those of you that ever watched Coronation Street, was free the Weatherfield one with Deirdre when she was arrested. So I'm saying free the Newport one. That's what we're going to do. Free the Newport one. Get him into a nice surrounding. Get him out of his prison cell there. I mean, it's not only is it a prison cell. I mean, you think that they've been nice to you because they've given you a lampshade. It's a Man United lampshade, mate. It's torture. That's what they call it. It is actually torture.
It's not as bad as you think.
Mate, enjoy the show tomorrow. Tonight, I mean, with Dan. You're going on to him at 9. We're going to be back with the prediction show at 9. God knows, we've hardly got anything right this season, so I don't know why we're still doing it, but we will. with Steve Lynix, the ex-player. He'll be joining us after sitting through the Leicester game with us at the weekend. Thanks very much, Mike, mate. Take care.
Yes, and yourself.
And I'll see you tomorrow night on Dan's stream for the first half of your game.
Oh, great. Cheers. Thanks for reminding me.
Free the Newport one. Come on, brothers. Brothers, we must unite and pull together. Free the Newport one.
Oh, crikey. Thanks for coming on. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, mate. Cheers. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
He knows I love him, really. I don't. But I said he's still listening. So Mike is a great guy. Seriously, though, go over, sub to his channel. If you like darts, he is your man. He does a great lot of dart coverage. I don't get the point in darts. Hey! Yeah, that deserves one of those. I don't get the points in darts, but he does a lot of darts coverage. I'm going to be back at 9. I'm going to shoot off, do what I've got to do, get ready for 9 o'clock with Brad and myself. And my mate says he's still here. Well, of course you're still there because they won't let you out your prison cell. You know, I'll send you a food parcel. I'll get down onto the Red Cross, get them to send you a food parcel. And I believe that they actually are torturing Mike, and if he doesn't give his secrets over, that they're going to make him go and watch Man United Burnley. That's a fate worse than death. Cheers, Mike. All the best, mate. Take care. And I will see everybody else at 9 o'clock for the prediction show. Thanks for watching. And if you're catching up on podcasts, thanks for listening as well.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website. Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
That's all, folks.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.